I'm looking at this right now, and I don't think I like it. Okay, so just finished up here, I decided to swap out those two shabby little tents with something with a bit more character and relevance. So here is a materials storage or kind of materials gathering spot for imports and exports. I kind of fumbled up my words last time, saying travel town or travel hub describing Spawn, but I think I wanted to describe it more as like a trades kind of town that receives a lot of imports and does a lot of exports. So I thought it would be reasonable to have a site where materials would be kept for exchanges and whatnot. So that's what I turned this into. Swapped out those two tents with this little hut, shelter thing, and a few more boxes. As for this side, I removed a stone platform because it didn't really look great. I can put the statue without a platform. I can put the Christmas tree without a platform. So I'm just gonna leave that blank for now. I kind of littered a few more tiki torches just around the beachfront because it looks a bit better than having torches on the ground. I also have here a head of the drowned. I'm not sure I really talked about this, but we have a little bit of a data pack. I think that's what it's called, a data pack for the server where we have mob heads drop. And the ones for the drowned, they just drop like really, really often. Like this was the only drowned that I killed in like the last 2 weeks, and whoa, it dropped a head. So I decided to just kind of mount it on here because I have way too many of these at home. Now let's move over to something else. Did anyone buy anything? Nope. And nope. Fantastic. So, I think a bit earlier I joked about how I thought somebody lived in this house, implying that nobody lived in this house. Well, somebody does live in this house. It's, his name is Beeris. Well, actually, he's rebranding now. He now calls himself the Nerd. That's nerd within 3 for an E. You can check him out on Twitch. Right now, he's just streaming a ton of Fortnite these days. Personally, I think him rebranding himself as the Nerd is a bit too gracious. Maybe. Okay, but he's had grass floors for a while, so what I thought I'd do was give him hardwood floors. It's only taken a few months, but hey, he has a real floor now. Love to see him back here, cause it really does get lonely. It gets lonely on the server. B, please come back. I miss you. Have I ever talked about Bucky? I don't think I ever talked about Bucky. In this version of the game, you can catch fish in buckets, so I had a salmon named Bucky, from the bucket, you know? I put him in this pond, and then I learned that he could actually climb all the way up this waterfall, and he would do that over and over again, so he was like a fish god. But then he kind of died one day. I don't know how. I never found his corpse. but clearly he isn't here anymore. He was a good fishy. Rest in peace, Bucky. Wow. That hat and that scarf look really, really good on Douglas. Anyways, I was just walking down here and I remembered that Mr. Jeebs, who's a great player on this server, by the way, you should totally check out his channel, has recently worked on a little project here, just on the south end of Spawn Town. So he's got this project here, just behind these walls, and you can see that you got this big open thingamajig. Now, this that he has here is the Spawn Town Arena. It's got seats on two sides and a nice little rectangular pit where people can clobber themselves to death, which is all fine and dandy because I'm all for promoting bloodshed and violence. Cool stuff. And this also kind of gave me the opportunity to consider hosting another PvP tournament. If you remember, just a few episodes back, I was hosting the Big D fighting tournament. And the way it works is it's pretty much just a fighting tournament bracket where people sign up and they handle their own 1v1 matches on their own time. So I talked about that with Jeebs just for a tiny bit, and I kind of decided that I would start up the competition again. Last season I did get one successful tournament. The second one didn't launch because there were only 4 participants, and the reward was just not very big because the prize for these tournaments is built up from all of the participant fees pooled together. So this time, I'm gonna do the same thing. I have hashed out through the rules, but I haven't actually put the system in place, so I'll eventually get to that. But for now, I guess anyone can just use Jeebs' arena for fighting. If I ever find anyone on the server on the same time as me, maybe I'll fight them. So he's also got some practice equipment just kind of placed around the arena. He's got training dummies here. Okay, fix that. He also has some acrobatics practice, so that's cool. Ooh, archery targets. That counts, right? And I did not notice this earlier, but there are actually barrier blocks in place. So he did have to do a tiny bit of cheaty hacks. But otherwise, I think it kind of helps with dividing the stands and the people. Personally, I would just go up front here and stare at the people, so at least it guarantees that there can't be any spectator interference, and that is great. So I realize that it's gonna be about Christmas when this comes out, so I should probably do something about that. Oh, wow. Jeebs is actually on. That's amazing. And now he's gone. Alright, looks like finally in the festive holiday spirit, ready to spread that Christmas joy and the sense of giving and togetherness. So just temporarily, this spot that I have just recently renovated is now the hub of Otlichno Christmas, with a grand Christmas tree and a big gift-wrapped present addressed to everybody. And everybody gets a present. Everybody. And it's a good present, too. I didn't cheap out this time. Although, I had some pretty good presents last year. Okay, well, hopefully some people actually unwrap it. Alright, I think that does it. Merry Christmas. Goodbye.